Today I'm going to be going back and taking a look at Fahz. This is currently Season 4. To start off, we have his ultimate ability, X-Ray, see and shoot enemies through walls with ballistic weapons while active. Now there is something interesting about this which they completely leave out. For every wall that you shoot through or solid structure, you get 2x damage, and it keeps stacking. It doesn't stack 2, 4, 6, but it stacks 2, 3, 4. So if you shoot through 3 walls, you will have 4x damage on whatever weapon you're using. Line that up with a critical shot and high level cards, shoot through 3 walls and hit a guardian in its critical point, dead center, then you'll just straight drop it. Passive ability is every 6 critical kill drops a Pelfer pickup. So every 6 headshot or 6 kill where the final bullet lands on a weak point will grant you a Pelfer pickup, which is just a small amount of ballistic ammo. So on to the cards, and I'm going to start off with my choice and potential setups that you can run, as I know most people know what most of the cards do, and then I'll get into that. So to start off, we have Exploit Weakness. Should be a given regardless of whatever you're running with him, because it's increased critical damage. It's a really beast card even though it's 2 stars. Personally, I like the long shot, so I run the modified long shot. And the long shot handling now at level 6 is a guaranteed automatic reload. I'm actually looking forward to getting this card to 6. I'm getting so many right now at 90%. I'm really liking it. I mean, at 75% it was okay, but 100% and 90% is really good. Next up, it's kind of a toss-up. I swapped this out. Icy Precision. This is more for the Marksa than it is for your M-Bar and long shot, because you need to keep hitting them. So if you're not spamming it, you're really not freezing. You're doing a little bit of damage. But in the beginning of the game, it's really nice when you're using the Marksa and you don't really have the ammo, and you're usually not the first one to get a weapons locker. So the ability to freeze and do extra damage with the Marksa is really nice. Now for my 5th card, I actually swapped this out. I either run Explosive Critical Hit, Critical Parade, or Ambush. Ambush is only if you're playing Masters or you happen to be playing a lower level difficulty and you have the health modifier on. If the health modifier is off, this card will only benefit you if they regen back to full health. So I don't really see the point in wasting this card if you're not playing against full health. And if you are playing against full health, this card makes a hell of a difference. It is a must-have for full health games. It is basically as important as Exploit Weakness. So we're going to go on to Explosive Critical Hit. Actually, before I start with all the cards, I'm going to go on to what I recommend for Escape. And that is also Exploit Weakness, obviously. If there is a long shot on the board, modified long shot. Depending on the amount of ammo that you're going to get, you might want to add in long shot handling. Also, if there's an M-Bar on the board and you're a fan of the M-Bar, picking it up, modified M-Bar is good. Explosive Critical Hit is good. In Escape, I actually would use it a lot more than I would use in Horde. I would swap this card out for either Critical Parade or Ambush real quick in Horde, but in Escape, there's a lot of groups of enemies. More often you'll find groups of enemies that you can kill with the Explosive Critical Hit in Escape than you can in Horde, but you do gotta be wary that the explosive damage is friendly fire. It will hurt your teammates, so you can't get that headshot on the dude right next to your teammate, especially in the middle of a larger battle before it's basically cleared out. Critical Parade is another good potential for Escape, especially if there's a spot where you can go take out like a bunch of Scions. Usually you'll have a very hard battle, and that very hard battle, taking out the hardest enemies right off the bat, can be very useful. Ambush is another good one for escape, especially since in escape the enemies. Well, this is also you can make the modifier, but once again this is health on or health off for escape. The rest of these cards, if you were running the M bar setup, you could run M bar, modified M bar, and M bar ammo capacity versus running the modified long shot and long shot handling. Wouldn't go for the capacity if you're going to run the modified long shot and the modified M bar. I think explosive, weakness and icy precision are better, but if you really wanted the extra ammo, you could go that way too. As far as other escape cards, it is situational on what map you want to, what cards are best for that map. But most likely you're going to be running the cards I just mentioned, either in some form or another. One of the make up a group of 5 out of those. The Icy Precision once again is nice with the Marksa. It's not that great with the long shot or M-bar. So if you are going to be using the Marksa a little bit in the escape match too, you can throw that in. So we've already talked about exploit weakness, modified long shot handling, icy precision, explosive critical hit. Critical kills explode for X splash damage. So in a small radius near where you get the kill shot with a critical shot, you will create an explosion, and say you're using the long shot and you deal 3,000 damage. Well, that explosion will now deal 85% of 3,000 damage to everything within the blast radius. So it can, you shoot one Scion and a Scion sitting right next to it. You're probably going to kill both, which is pretty sweet. It's great for crowds. Like, even in a Horde match, you're going to get a few really nice explosions. Alternatively, if you're a big fan of the X-Ray, I would definitely, in place of it, run the X-Ray critical hit. I just wanted to say that. This is what I want to say exactly why I chose explosive critical hit real quick. And that's because I use my X-Ray mainly to take out Guardians, Sentinels, Wardens, mini-bosses, and when there's a boom shot that can't be taken out instantly, or I just know I can get the drop on a couple of problem Scions real quick. I don't really use my X-Ray. But if you're basically spamming the X-Ray at every point, then yeah, you want yours to last longer. I just take out real problem threats with mine. So that's why I chose that. So the critical parade does work, and every critical kill that you get will extend the duration by 23%. And here's an example. So at level 5, if you know the clock run, at the end of the clock run, if you're going back to back on critical hit kills with a level 5 critical parade, you can basically get as many kills as you have ammo. As long as you're quick with it, you can keep extending that kill. You just can't really miss, or you will lose a lot of time. Epic score boost, just a standard XP score boost. Modify Ember, just like the modified long shot. You're increasing damage and you're increasing active damage. Patience, X-ray recharges X amount faster when not taking damage for 2 minutes. Now, there has been strategies where you sat in the back and people would use this, but I don't recommend it in any fashion anymore doing that type of setup, because Fahz is actually powerful now. Fully maxed out, he just one-shots all the elite drones and everything, especially once you get the critical, and I'll get into the perks in a minute. Sitting in the back is no longer what most people do. You can actually play Fahz now, and it's fun because you can one-shot and a couple shot pretty much everything. So, don't really recommend that, but that's what that is. And ambush, as I was saying before, it's increased critical damage to targets above 90%. So it's basically for only full health games. Counter snipe resistance to precision damage, marks long shot and M-bar. M-bar ammo capacity, increased ammo capacity for your M-bar. Steady Hand is a nice beginning card, but really want to put it in the top 5 in any build. You get reduced camera shake and stun from being hit, and I believe flashes, but it's been so long since I've used that card. Don't know if it still applies to that. I assume it would. Standard score boost card, and finally we have the Master Marksman, which is a larger active reload bar. So on to how you should buy your perks. Well, I was just doing a test and I got to wave 17 on Inconceivable, and I tested this out with max damage and max critical, buying 10 in the critical and none in the damage, and buying 10 in the damage and none in the critical. Well, damage does more than critical. At the point of an elite scion, elite hunter, even with 10 put into the critical, perfect lined up headshot, and it does actually matter the landing of your headshot, how much damage you will inflict. Like you put a dead center in their forehead, and you will do more damage if you just like clip them. But with full critical, I couldn't one-shot those enemies. I do about 90-95% damage. With the damage up, I clearly killed them, and it was clearly putting out a lot more damage than the 10 critical on basically everything. My Marxa was basically with the active, almost taking out the Imagos and wave 16, 17. That's what I drew, and it wasn't putting out that damage with the criticals. So the way I recommend you buying your perks is definitely damage first. I can't say for certain how high before you're spending more, and it might be worth putting into the critical. Critical did do a decent amount. I would probably go to like 6 on damage, then start going to like 2, 3 on the critical, finish the damage, and then go and finish the critical. And once you're done with that, if you really want it, if there's money to burn, you can increase your ammo capacity. Generally at the end of games, I might up my ammo capacity like 3. If you're a big fan of the X-ray, you might want to put that up a little bit. What's most important is able to 1 active to 2 active shot down enemies. You don't want to be sitting there and firing 10 long shots into the head of an enemy to kill it. So once the game gets late, you're going to need those perk cards, even with max level cards, to really do some damage. So I do recommend getting the damage up to at least about 5, 6, somewhere around there. Do the low, cheap 2, 3 into the critical, finish the damage, finish the critical. Anywhere around that range, just wouldn't be wasting anything in ammo capacity in the beginning. Don't really need it. Don't really need the increase in the X-ray in the beginning. That's like money to burn. And that is my pick for my favorite cards for Horde and Escape, and also my build for Horde, my standard build, and potentials, as well as everything else I explained. I hope that helps.